Hey guys, thanks for showing up for this recording today. In my previous video, I showed you guys how you can go about picking a niche that you want to actually start building a business on. Now, in today's video, what I want to do is sort of like put you on the right track to making money as you start your business. But let's face it, there's quite a number of business models that I think you could think about when you are trying to get started in building your business. So what I just want to quickly show you before we can start looking at these business models and sort of like start breaking down each and every my favorite type of business model. And what I want to do is sort of like bring you into contrast so that you can kind of like have a look and see what the income potential for these types of business models would look like. So I do run a very, very successful membership based type of business model. And the reason why I chose this type of business model when I was getting started is simply because you see, it's very easy for me to run as a solo entrepreneur, or I could easily manage a very, very small type of team around me. Most of the stuff that I do, I do them in between, doing stuff like managing, family. I've got kids. They go to school and stuff like that. So in between running my own business, I've got to also do sort of like school runs and stuff like that. That kind of business model fitted very well with me. So what I want to show you quickly here is the sort of like income potential in contrast. So I've got an active membership of about 285 members in this particular package. This is a package, just one package, but I've got about 4 packages that I offer. But the reason why I'm showing you this package is simply because the way how it's been set up is actually sort of like something that probably maybe might sort of like spark some ideas in you guys and see what is possible. So I have a membership which provides web hosting, training, and group coaching, which also involves at least sort of like some premium tools that I provide for my members who use these tools for building their businesses and running their businesses inside my membership. But I also have about another package where my members who are not included in this package don't have to get the training because they are sort of like a seasoned bloggers, and they've been doing this for so long, and they've got their own teams and stuff like that who do certain things. But they joined my membership for the other benefits that they get apart from getting on top of getting the training, the tools that I provide for them to use inside my membership when to run their businesses. They also get web hosting and stuff like that. So what I want to sort of like break it down for you guys so that you can actually understand the way how potentially lucrative this type of business model would look like for you is for this particular month I have about 285 active members who are in my membership on this particular package. And what, by just looking at these, only these members, not the whole total members of the other packages, which are subscribed at about $37 per month. Now, if you look at this particular membership package, you would notice that we charge $97 per month, and for that, with the numbers that we have here, you notice that that brings in about 27K 645, and if we kept the numbers where they are at the moment without actually growing or adding any numbers or dropping any numbers on this, this brings us kind of like about 331,740 as an annual income for this particular membership only. Now, what I want to do is what I want to show you guys here is inside my membership account. You can see these are the numbers of members who are currently actively subscribed to this account, and the number that you are seeing below there is the number of outstanding accounts that we have just temporarily suspended them, simply because the payment is being processed, and once they have processed the payment, and the payment has been cleared, then they'll definitely have access to the membership privileges and stuff like that. As you can see inside the membership that I've just shown you, you could see that we've got on this particular package, we've got about 285 members who have been subscribed to this particular package, and what this package offers them is sort of like a fast track way to getting to a point where now they are getting started to build their business with the sort of like an over-the-shoulder type of mentorship. We provide training with them, for them. We provide technical support. We provide, tools for the trade. We train them and we show them how to do it. And every time, whenever they are sort of like stuck on a certain, if they are stuck on whatever it is that they are having problems with, we've got a dedicated team of members who actually help them sorting some of this stuff out. So the membership comes with quite a lot of privileges for most of our members, and I think it kind of like fast tracks their process to actually getting to start making money with their business. So really, the reason why I kind of like wanted to make sure that I sort of like brought you into contrast of what this kind of like could do, sort of like what kind of this business model could do for you, is simply because in today's video, what I want to do is sort of like work with you and show you guys why it's important to make sure that you explore what sort of business models are available and which business model would work for you. This business model, the membership business model, works best for me and probably might not work best for you. It requires a certain level of skill sets for you to actually sort of like possess, but it also requires you to sort of like to be a little bit analytical and provide the value that I think members who are subscribed to your membership will find them to be invaluable in a way, but it's something that I think you could look into and sort of like see where you might be able to plug in this type of business model and start doing what you need to do. So as you can see, there is quite a lot of businesses that you would look into. It doesn't matter which niche that you go into. Like yesterday, I think when we were discussing in the private group coaching that we normally do, we had about 11 new members who came in, and we discussed at length. And I think by the end of the day, when we finished doing that particular training, they walked away knowing exactly which business model that they would be looking into. So I encourage you guys that just picking the niche that you want to go into is not good enough for you to allow you to kind of like start making progress into breaking kind of like the a profitable business that you intend to build. So like I said, there are plenty of business models that you can look into from here. If you are looking into sort of like starting your business where you can provide you can provide a lead generation business type of service to other businesses, whether it's locally or globally, then lead generation would be something that you would want to think about. And I will be doing separate videos for each and every business model on how you can set this up, how you could do sort of like get the ball rolling, how to sort of like do the market research, look into this particular business model, and see how you can go about implementing it. The same thing with affiliate marketing business model. You see, a lot of guys, when they are starting their blog, and that is if you are going to start your business and the hope that you would want to make money, they just get started without actually giving a thorough thought of which type of business model it is. But if you're going to start a business in this particular case, and you sort of like a bit intentional, and you have a foresight on your side, kind of like looking into the future and seeing how you want to make your money, or how you want your revenue generation to look like. It helps to make sure that you pay attention to these things and build a business in line with the model that you actually feel like is going to fall in place with the way how you see whether is the type of skill sets you have, or maybe the type of goals you have, or it could be a type of lifestyle that you have. I've already told you guys that one of my businesses that I run is the membership. It's based on the membership business model. This business model works for me because it ticks in quite a number of boxes. I've already mentioned that I've got kids who go to school in the morning, and my partner takes them to school, and I have to pick them up from school, and that kind of like fits in very well with my kind of like lifestyle, because if I've got to go to the office, if I've got to go to meetings with clients and stuff like that, I can do that in between school hours, at least before I can go and pick my kids from school. And because of how much most of my business has been automated, I don't have to sort of like tie my hands to a desk and feel confined that I've got to be at home or maybe in the office doing what I need to do to make sure that I fulfill the activities that I need to do to make sure that my business is running properly. In between doing, what life demands of me to do as a parent, I also have a team of members of staff who work with me to sort of like make my life a little bit easier, and it works best for me because I don't have to do the heavy lifting. Most of my work is sort of like is done at least and prepared for the next 6 months. It's what we call front loading, and then sort of like kind of like sitting back and doing at least the least activities that I could do for the day just to make sure that the business is running properly. The most important thing for me is making sure that my clients are getting exactly what they are paying for each and every month. So that's the reason why I think this business model was of great interest to me. If it was the affiliate business model, of course, I've got a number of affiliate sites that I've built over the years. I've got affiliate business models, business sites that are built around this business model, which drive the traffic to whether it's an Amazon affiliate website, or it could be a CPA business, website, which is sort of like delivering leads, and I'm getting paid based on every action that my lead takes when I deliver those leads to businesses that have signed up to sort of like deliver leads to them. It could be something like, maybe you are interested in social media marketing, where you want to sort of like act as a local a digital advertising agency. This is where you manage a portfolio of customers, accounts, doing reputation management, managing their advertising budgets locally for your clients. Is something that I think you could also look into as a business model that you could look into. It's not complicated. It requires a level of skill that you should think about. The good thing about this particular business is that most of the skill sets that you need, you're gonna have to learn from from outside an educational institution. Of course, there are university degrees about marketing and advertising and stuff like that, but most of the skills that you need to actually run a successful social media marketing agency, you can't learn that at school. You really have to learn that from somebody who knows exactly how and what they are doing. This kind of business model requires a certain level of analytical skill set that you've got to apply to it. So it's not something that I would say, or maybe you could actually say, I went to university, or maybe I'm going to university to go and learn doing this, and when I come back out of that, I'm going to do this like that. You're not going to do it because universities are not necessarily teaching practical skills that you actually need to do this. It's not going to happen. All right. The other business model that you would consider looking into is the becoming an introducing broker. This could be if you remember in our previous video when I showed you another potential opportunity niches that you look into could be in the financial industry, where whether you're providing, aggregated information on the, on trading, or it could be insurance broker, insurance, life insurance policies and all the other bits and pieces. But let's say if somebody who is looking for a lifestyle type of business, where they're looking into building a business that they can actually make money on the fly and while living, dream life, kind of like, they are traveling the world, and they are doing what they love outside of work, but they are also able to set 4 hours, 3 hours in between having fun to kind of like, do day trading and make some money. This is where you could also sort of like build that business around this particular business model, and kind of like become that introducing broker to other practitioners within the industry. The other business model that you would look into would be sort of like becoming an influencer, with the rise and growth of social media platforms at the moment. We have people who are actually influential within the social media industry itself, when they go and do, let's say, sort of like club appearances and stuff like that. People are actually getting paid hundreds of thousands, sort of like go and appear in a particular pub or a nightclub, or it could be an event. It could be at a children's party. It could be at a paid event where they are speaking. So there are so many avenues that I think you could do, actually sort of like explore in the very same this particular business model. There is also sort of like an educational element within it, where you are organizing, social live events, and they sort of like organize a training, a boot camp for people who wants, small businesses locally, who wants to learn how to manage social media, for their businesses and stuff like that. It could be, you want to teach them how to invest money that they've made, how to run their businesses, how to rank their websites for their businesses and stuff like that. There are so many options that you could do as the live events, and if that's something that works best for you, obviously that's something I think you would want to look into and kind of like see if that particular business model is going to work for you. The other business models that I didn't list on this, based on the niche markets that we looked in the previous video, was the sort of like becoming a blogger, where you are blogging and providing aggregated information, and the monetization for this particular business model is not limited to the fact that you could actually use ad agencies to make money by advertising and monetizing the traffic that come to your blog. There is a particular blogger, Create and Go. I think they started their blog. They've got, I think, about 2 blogs. So on one blog, they kind of like use it as a membership blog, where people subscribe for training and access to business resources for anyone who has an online business where they provide the kind of value they provide, Pinterest training and all sorts of things. But on top of that, they also have created a physical product business model where they have created their own branded product. I think it's about gut cleansing, and they sell those products and deliver them through an Amazon FBA channel, which means they don't have to handle any physical products at home. When they've made a sale, I think Amazon delivers the products on their behalf and stuff like that, and they can do this pretty much from anywhere. And in the last time I think I checked, that business was generating about 75,000 in revenue every month. So beyond selling the e-courses, e-books, Pinterest trainings, membership to their programs and stuff like that, they also have a business that delivers physical products to their audience and stuff like that. And this has all been possible simply because they started running those two blogs. So like I've said, guys, there are options that you've got to sort of like go through and think about and see how you want to go about doing this. Once you've chosen the type of business model based on some of the decision making processes that we are sharing on this channel, then you are gonna sort of like start looking into how you can go about start building your business. I think the most important thing is to sort of like going through what we call an elimination process. What this process allows you to do sort of like is look into each and every business opportunity. Let's say, for example, if you're starting a blog, and at the end of that particular the blog, what you want to do is, when you've built that community you want to build, you want to generate leads and then deliver those leads to, whether it's it could be a real estate business, it could be a financial investment business, or even new moms. If you're starting a mom blog, or if you're starting a blog for skincare products and stuff like that, if you don't want to create a product and deliver that product to your audience, you could generate those leads and deliver those leads to small business operators who are also producing products within that industry, and then sort of like you get paid for generating those leads and delivering to them. One of my favorite businesses that I actually run at the moment, I've got a landscaping business in Cape Town, and that landscaping business has been running for the past 3 years. I've never spent 3 months in Cape Town running that business. I run with business partners on the ground who actually do the coordination. I've got a team of about 7 members of staff who do all the heavy lifting on the ground and stuff like that. I live and work in UK, so I only collect the check and manage the technical aspect part of the business, and that's the beauty of doing this. So for me, the way how I look at it is there are some factors that you would want to consider when you are trying to sort of like do this elimination process. We talked about lead generation, affiliate. We talked about starting a social media company. or it could be you want to develop a mobile app. If you are going into a health and fitness business, and you want to, design a mobile app that can track, whether is weight loss progress, daily activities you need, and all these other bits and pieces. You need to sort of like think about how viable that business is going to be, and how soon can it turn around and sort of like, make money for you. If I'm going to start a business where I deliver an ebook in the first place, I can guarantee you, if I'm starting that blog that sells an ebook, at the end of the day, within 6 months, this business would have started delivering, between anything between $3,000 and $10,000 in revenue monthly. And the reason being is that if you are going to do this, there are one or two options that you're going to sort of like, you look into what type of traffic are you going to use, what type of, how are you going to generate that type of traffic? Is it going to be organic? Is it going to be paid traffic? If it's paid traffic, all I need to do is sit down, write that ebook, and build my website, build my sales copies, and build my funnel, connects all the dots, which I think, with the kind of experience I have in putting all the technology that's needed to whip together a functional business, obviously that would be something that I can do within a fortnight or so, and the business is ready to launch, and they start driving traffic to that. So with that kind of business, obviously I would be on the market and sort of like start making money within a very, very short period of time. The only things that I would want to point out here, as you are considering elimination processes, is to sort of like take a step back and look what is it that it would take for you to actually build a successful business. And the things that you would want to think about in this is how do you plan to fund your business? Because if the business you want to fund is gonna require a whole shitload of money for you to actually put in as capital outlay, you don't want to do that if you don't have the money. This type of ebook business model that I just spoke about, if I'm going to drive, if I'm going to use paid traffic, obviously I'm going to have at least a budget of $5,000 in place to put together the technology that is needed, create the content, but also drive the traffic to that page and start making 10K or anything beyond that within a couple of weeks. But that's not probably an option for you. The option that you have is to sort of like bootstrap, build organic traffic, generation systems, which means providing value first and building that community in the first place. And then once you've built that community, you have built traffic, you've provided the value that your audience is looking for, then you can turn around and sort of like market to your targeted audience the ebook that you've created. So that kind of things, those factors weigh in heavily in the process of considering which business model you should go for. The other thing that you would consider when looking into eliminating the other business models that we've discussed about is what kind of skill sets does that particular business require? Is it going to be requiring somebody to be analytically, able? If that's the case and that's not you, then there's no point in looking into that. it's better to move on to the next type of business. If a business offers you the possibility that you have the skill sets that you need, or you could actually sort of like train as you go, then that's perfectly fine. You can start as long as you have a stomach for sort of like learning new skills and giving yourself enough time to be able to pick those new skills. Because whichever way how you look at it, if you're starting a business, obviously there's quite a lot of things that you are going to have to learn on the job. And when I say look at the skill sets, I'm not talking about the skill set of actually knowing how to run a business or how to do everything. There are some key issues to sort of like think about when you're looking at your skill sets. If you are good at managing people, you don't know how to install WordPress, you don't know how to kind of like write an ebook, you don't know how to speak, or maybe you know how to speak, but you just haven't got the confidence to stand in front of people and teach them and stuff like that. Those are some of the skills I think that you could learn over time. And if you're going to start the business today and you want to do live events where you're speaking or somebody is speaking, probably maybe you could consider starting that company and hiring or partnering with somebody who has it's sort of like that kind of charisma to stand in front of people and energize them, allow you to build, the type of sort of like movement that you want to do. The other thing that you would want to look into is goals. Financially, what does your financial goals look like? How does those goals align with your current business model that you want to sort of like go for here? Those are some of the things that I think you would want to look to to doing. You would also want to sort of like look at kind of like if the lifestyle is going to be playing a role in your business. Do you want to run a business that allows you to travel the world? You want to run a business that allows you the freedom of time and location. That's kind of like what made me choose pretty much all the types of businesses that I'm running at the moment, because I had to sit down and look at these factors and say, okay, what is it that is going to work for me and for my family? What is it that can actually fit in, sort of like tick all the boxes, including how much money that I would be able to earn from these businesses. Those are some of the things that I think you would want to look into when you are doing your elimination of processes and think about how you should go about doing it. It matters quite a lot, if those boxes that you're looking into, income goals, should fall in place to allow you to sort of like pursue that business model with confidence that you are gonna still remain as passionate as you would have been if from the time you started doing this up until when the money started flowing in. You don't want to start a business now because you're desperate for money. When the money has started coming in, you lose the passion that you had for that particular business. That's a tragedy, and that's a problem with a lot of guys who have started businesses long before you guys probably maybe came along. So give it a good thorough thought and see if that's going to work for you. All right. And the other thing to also think about is you also have to understand that this business that you are getting yourself into is not just about you becoming another business that's doing social media in your local vicinity. You've got to have a backbone, and you've got to think about what kind of value can you actually put on the table and provide that to your customers. So when you are looking at these business models, look at the problems that you want to solve in your community, not necessarily simply because what we call Jonas's syndrome is kind of like having an effect on you, because you've seen your neighbors making money with their newfound online business opportunities. Then you want to jump in and start doing exactly the same thing. You will crash and burn. Find a problem that you can actually solve, a problem you can provide solutions for. My membership provides training, provides mentorship, provides group coaching, provides technical support to people, to business owners who are just getting started. But it also provides, tools that they can use in their business when they are doing what they are doing, whether it's building their, offline business that delivers a product to the market. They have that backbone, they have the technical support team that they subscribe to when they have, technical problems that could have cost them thousands of dollars or to pay for that particular service. The monthly subscription for, which is just a fraction of a cost that would have set them back in their business, it covers for that. And that is valuable to people who have actually experienced challenges that has actually cost them money in their industry. So don't just get in there and say, okay, I'm going to do it simply because everybody is doing it. No. Think about exactly what you are doing, and if you're going to do it, make sure that you are also thinking about and planning exactly how you are going to do it. The one thing that I've learned doing this business is also having an instinct for opportunities that lie ahead of you. And that requires planning and having foresight, but also, sort of like willing to sort of like look at what the future is, future opportunities are going to look like, and then taking some time to, to acquire skill sets that's, sort of like going to be needed to service the kind of market. If the global payments, systems is not something that you've taken notice of on the market today, probably you need to look into that and see what is it that you could do within that industry that can actually provide the kind of business opportunities that you want. And each and every successful business that has been built on top of a blogging system that's profitable and works has been built around the process of being intentional. You provide value, you provide service, you provide support to your audience because you want to build a community. And the reason why you want to build that community is simply because you want to come and turn around and market or recommend some products that you want to sell to your community. And that will require you to sort of like either find a charismatic leader who can lead that team, and that team, the leading factors that would sort of like bring people together is when we talk of niche markets and stuff like that, we're talking about people who believe or share beliefs or maybe they share a cause, and they share their beliefs and they are being driven by a cause. They're fighting for something. All right. And once they've fought for that something, when they get to the top of, to the pinnacle of their fight, they understand that there is there is an opportunity, there is an offer at the end of the day. So in this particular case, being intentional and having foresight is seeing the new offer you can put in front of your audience long before you get started, and putting in place steps that are intentional so that you can put your audience through those steps, so that when they get to the time when they have to make a decision to say, okay, now this is the opportunity, I have to seize it. All right. That's where now I think you really have to sort of like plan out this whole thing. A plan has to be there. The aspect of, a foresight has to be there. The willingness to learn new skills that can bolster and improve the opportunity for you to grab to grab the opportunities that are presented to you in the future. Now they are there. The commitment for you to actually say, I'm going to do this regardless of the challenges that I have, has to be there as well. Having a goal in place is, and that's what is kind of like going to help you decide. And when you are deciding, that decision, when you are deciding, the decision is what is going to allow you to sort of like get started. So don't get things mixed up. You might be able to get started with your blogging business today, but that doesn't guarantee that you're going to be a success. All right. But when you are committed, that commitment that you have made, that's what helps you to sort of like break out and finish what you started. Anything that has been started, or anything that is starting, somebody has made a decision to start that. But for it to actually be finished, and seeing that here we are talking about successful blogs that actually makes money, or maybe businesses, starting a business that is profitable. Thus making a decision to start a profitable business, but only if you're committed. That's when you are going to be able to go through whatever you need to go through to make sure that you go and hit that finishing line and, claim the prize. So whichever way, how you look at it, it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's something that you've got to sort of like go through the process of developing and flexing muscles until you get to a point where now you are able to get what you want. All right. So guys, like I've said and shared with you guys mostly, that I'm doing these blogging series, blog startup series, just to help you see what is possible and what is available for you on the market. And if you guys feel like this is something that you can take advantage of, make sure you subscribe, and I will continue publishing helpful videos that are kind of like going to help you get where you need to go. In my next video, I will be looking at analyzing the market and looking directly, at how you could look into your competitors and how you can actually take them on and kind of like make it work for you. All right. Thank you for watching, guys. Cheers.